In the summer of 1885, a frail man sat by the window racing against death. Cancer was eating him alive, and he lost all his money to a Ponzi scheme swindler. But Ulysses S. Grant, once the savior of the Union, had one last battle to fight, not with bullets, but with words. From muddy boots at Shiloh to the blood-soaked fields of Vicksburg to the quiet handshake at Appomattox. And what he wrote became one of the greatest military memoirs in American history. He finished it just days before he died. His friend, Mark Twain, offered him an unprecedented 70% royalty and published the book, which saved his family from poverty and restored a measure of truth to a legacy buried under politics, betrayal, and pain. Grant was more than a general. He was the face of both American triumph and tragedy. While Union forces floundered in the East, Grant rose fast in the Western Theater. President Lincoln, desperate for capable leadership, promoted him despite rumors of past drinking. "Find out what whiskey he drinks. I want to send a barrel to my other generals." Yes, Grant had a troubled history with alcohol, but he was no reckless drunk. While leading the army or serving as president, he rarely touched a drop. He drank only in solitude, after a hard-won battle or during long, idle journeys, never when duty called. Grant won 8 major battles in the West. His most crucial triumph was the Siege of Vicksburg, a Confederate stronghold on the Mississippi. After bold maneuvers and 5 victories in 11 days, the South was split in 2, its lifeline severed. By March 1864, Grant had risen from a volunteer colonel to commander of all Union forces. Grant is now recognized as one of America's greatest military minds. His Vicksburg campaign remains a West Point case study. He and Lincoln were kindred spirits, humble, just, and compassionate. At Lincoln's funeral, Grant stood apart, weeping openly. When Confederate leaders like Robert E. Lee faced treason charges, Grant threatened to resign unless they were spared, honoring his promise of reconciliation. As the 18th president, he stepped into chaos. A nation still bleeding, a South resisting freedom, and a Washington drowning in corruption. He trusted too easily, and those he trusted robbed, lied, and brought scandal to his name. These biased portrayals overshadowed his real achievements and haunted his reputation for much of the 20th century. But while the headlines mocked him, Grant quietly stood up for those America pushed aside. Native tribes seeking dignity, freedmen yearning for safety. He sent in troops to crush the Klan. He pushed for civil rights when it was neither safe nor popular. Under his watch, the 15th Amendment granted black men the right to vote. Lincoln made us free. Grant made us citizens. And though Reconstruction was ultimately sabotaged by the very system he hoped to heal, his effort left behind sparks that future generations would one day reignite. In his final hours, Grant gave America not just a book, but a mirror of courage, failure, and a stubborn belief that this country could still be worth fighting for. Thank you for watching.